Hi, it's Beth in the Speech and Language Garden here. This video is primarily aimed at early years professionals. This is to do with my course, the Early Years Speech and Language course that was recently released on my website, thespeechandlanguagegarden.com. I get a lot of emails and calls in my clinical working from preschools and preschool practitioners, so childminders, daycare settings, nursery locations, places like that. And they just have concerns about children in their setting who are late to talk. They want to refer them to NHS, or they've referred them to a speech and language service, but there's a long waiting list, or there's no one answering the calls at the moment. A lot of the staff are still redeployed. Things are quite tense, and parents are becoming anxious, and settings are struggling to understand how to help the children in the setting. So what I have got is some handy tips, really, some key points for early years professionals and early years practitioners to really be able to focus on helping children who are late with their language skills, so late talkers and children who are struggling with their comprehension and their understanding. So first of all, you need to know what to look out for. It's really important to have, to have a checklist of ages and stages that children, things that children should be doing at certain ages. So in my early years speech and language course, I've created one of those for you. I'm a massive fan of checklists. I actually printed my copy out. You get this as a free bonus downloadable PDF within the course, and it's set out into different ages and stages. So I've got it starting from 9 months, all the things that children at 9 months old should be understanding, any talking and vocabulary skills they might have, perhaps some speech sound things that pop out, attention and play social skills are the other categories in this checklist. So I've got 9 months, 12 months, 18 months, and then we pop into years, 2 years, 3 years, 4, 5 and 6 years. And each one of these pages focuses on a different level, a different age range, so that you can really have a good look and see, right, is this child doing this? So for 3-year-olds, for example, 3-year-old can follow 3 keyword instructions, and I'll pop some examples in there. Is this child doing this or not? And then also what I've included at the bottom of this typical milestones checklist is when to refer to speech and language. So it really gives you a good idea of what I, as a speech and language therapist, like to receive in terms of a referral from a setting, and also it gives you a little bit, I think, I'm hoping, a reassurance as well to see actually this child isn't doing as badly. They haven't got lots of these red flags raised, so perhaps we can be doing some interventions in the setting. So that's another key point or key area you can do. So there's always some strategies in settings that you can be using to help the children. And in the second module of the early years course, I give you loads of strategies to help children in different areas. So you might have a child who's got difficulty with their talking skills. So I've got lots of strategies that you can use in your setting, and you can help your team to do as well. You might have children who've got difficulty with their comprehension, their understanding. They're really struggling to follow instructions and struggling to follow particular commands. So again, I've got some really super duper strategies for you there. You'll probably definitely have children in your setting who've got speech sound difficulties. You might even have a stammerer or two in your setting too. So there's 4 different areas there. So comprehension, understanding, talking and vocabulary, speech sounds and stammering. So I've got strategies in there for all 4 of those different areas for you. And in fact, actually, I've even got those as downloadable PDFs as well, so you can print them out and pop them in your staff room, or print them out and use them as part of your staff training. So I've even sorted you out a staff training session there too. Another really good thing to do, and it's something I do a lot as a paediatric practitioner, is to share my best practice. So to share some ideas and case studies and stories with my colleagues and peers. We do this a lot in our private speech and language therapy group, but also I do this a lot with practitioners and early years professionals that I work with. So I do this a lot with teaching assistants who I catch up with on a regular basis through my working, through when I'm talking to them about the children that we work with. And it's always really good to pinch other people's ideas, or to see what someone else has done, or if you have a child in your setting who's similar to a child that someone else has worked with. So I'm sharing in my 3rd module in the early years speech and language course some case studies of children that I've worked with who are very, very similar, I'm sure, to children in your setting, because I've been doing this job for a long time, and there are definitely patterns that I see in terms of language difficulties and language delays. And so there are some case studies that I've shown you in module 3. of children that I've worked with, and actually none of these children had therapy sessions with me. They all needed to come in for an assessment, find out where they were. I pretty much used this therapy milestones checklist, which I keep in my brain as a speech and language therapist, and then I worked out what the areas of need are and then how they can be helped. So then I popped in some activity ideas and some strategies for the staff to be using, and also some games and activities for home as well. So that's my fourth key point for you, really, is to play games and have lots of fun. It's not always easy to know whether the game you're using is the right game to target this child's need or this child's difficulty. So in Module 4 of the Early Years Speech and Language course, I give you loads, and I think there's about 14 or 15 different games that you can play. And actually what I really like to do is to show you how you can tweak these games. And these are really simple games like pop-up pirate games or posting games. These are games that you probably have in your setting already. There's no extra purchase here. You know, you get the ideas and the demonstrations from the videos and you just roll with it. I've even got a game that I use using fly swats, and I actually use my fly swats like every week. Fly swats and pop-up pirate, that's pretty much my two regular games that I play every week in clinic. And I use them with lots of different types of games and for helping children with different needs and different difficulties. So if I've got children who need to work on boosting their sentences or adding extra words or just focusing on verbs, I'll use the fly swats probably. Or if I've got children who need to work on their f sound or their s sound, I'll probably use the fly swats in a picture game too. So that's what I do in this in Module 4, is show you loads of different fun games that I do in my setting and that you can be doing in your setting too, and also how you can suggest these games for family to be doing at home with the children to support them. So we've got a multi-pronged approach to help your little ones with their late talking and to help them to boost and make progress. And then the last thing you need to do is really kind of take action. You need to crack on with this really. We've not got too long before the end of term, so it's June now. We've not got too long before the end of term before the children, if you've got some children who are moving on up to school next year in September, or if you've got children who really need to get a little bit of a wriggle and they're looking quite behind their peers or behind where they should be. So yeah, definitely take action. So there's some resources for you on the speechandlanguagegarden.com. Make sure you grab the freebies if you need them on the freebies page, and then head over to the early years course page to find out how this course can be perfect for you in your setting. And you're always welcome to contact me with any questions or queries that you have. There's a contact page on the website too, or you can find me on social media, or you can email me speechandlanguagegarden@gmail.com.